Welcome to the United States of Tiffany. Our commentary offers a humorous take on wrestling. Please note, we're not bullying or attacking the wrestlers. We're engaging with the choreographed sport and its storylines. Our jokes and observations are about the characters and storylines, not the real people behind them. Tourists and citizens alike, welcome. Enjoy the show, and remember, it's all in good fun.
Well, that was eventful. Yeah. We're my gosh, today. Okay. We'll start from the end and go to the beginning. Okay?
Let's go back.
Let's Tarantino this shit. Let's do it. Okay? Now look. If you know, a true cerebral assassin will never show its cards fully. And that is exactly what CM Punk did. Now, CM Punk and Roman Reigns have been trading barbs night in and night out. And it's been a little over 3 weeks, I would say. And we're about to be at the home stretch. So the boys have been ramping up their efforts. Not as much as, say, Randy and Cody have because they had to play catch up, but they have been ramping up their efforts nonetheless. The situation between Roman and CM Punk got uglier today because of one man not being able to control himself, and that man is none other than Jey Uso. Now, CM Punk came out there and admitted that Roman Reigns pissed him off last week when he called him old. But he wasn't mad that Roman called him old. He was mad that he had the audacity. He's like, Roman's calling me old. Meanwhile, he's buying Just for Men to cover up those grays in his beard. And I was like, oh, that's messy, boots. It's messy. That's messy because he do. He do that sometimes. You can tell. It's messy. But as he continued to cut his promo and cut down, Roman Reigns, the situation began to become more volatile. Before he came out there, his counterpart, Jim, told CM Punk that his brother was on a warpath. So whatever he was going to say out there, he needed to be very, very careful about what he said. And of course, this gave CM Punk the fuel he needed to do what he wanted to do. Now, when he got towards the end of the promo is where he invoked Jey Uso. You see, Jey Uso also competed against CM Punk to gain the opportunity to get back to the World Heavyweight Championship. But that didn't pan out too well. He ended up losing that match and absolutely losing it afterwards. However, his brother was able to return, and that was able to calm him down, and he was able to stay focused, and they got the tag team titles. But it's nothing like having that World Heavyweight title. I have said this multiple times. That fucking championship is the golden poop. Okay, because every time someone gets it, they become evil and corrupt. It happens with a WWE title and it happens with this fucking title. It's like they lose their shit when they lose this damn championship. Okay, they can't help it. As CM Punk was out there insulting everyone, but giving most of the people the props, basically saying, hey, I've gone up against this guy, and even though they couldn't beat me, they were still respecting me. And even your cousin, Jay Uso, I've beaten. It became a big old thing. And of course, Jay Uso popped out there. Now, Jay Uso's biggest problem is he felt like CM Punk disrespected his family. To a certain extent, he did. Yeah, it is. CM Punk is a wild boy. Let's put it that way. He feels like he disrespected his family, and in a sense, he did. He did disrespect his family by bringing up Roman's father. His father is deceased. It wasn't that long ago that Roman Reigns was burying the man. So that's going to be a touchy subject for all of the family. And they're very protective of their family and their lineage, okay? So it can become a problem when you have someone who is combustible, who does not know how to contain their emotions and strike when they need to. He strikes out of emotion. He does not think. And because of that, we have a domino effect here. Now, what happened was CM Punk now has the power to control them again. If they had have allowed Roman to handle it the way he had been handling it from last week, things might not have broken out into this massive breakdown between not only Jay and Jimmy and Roman, but this whole situation would not have swung back into CM Punk's favor if Jay Uso had have just left the ring and let Roman handle his own business. But he could not do that. He could not control himself. And because of that, his inability to control himself allowed him to be able to gaslight Roman into committing catastrophic warfare on CM Punk. I've seen Roman be vicious before, and he can be extremely vicious. But this time, it was emotionally driven. It was nasty work. And Jay was out there cheering him on. It was giving very much 2020 OG pandemic days, where Roman Reigns was being merciless and Jay Uso was cheering him on, along with his former advocate, Paul Heyman. Jimmy didn't want to be a part of this. He made it very clear to Jay that he needed to lock in. Because of him, we have a title shot against the Vision again next week, and it's a street fight. We don't have time for this. And his brother said very loud and very clear he didn't give a damn about them tag team titles. That in itself is a problem, because that means you have now caused dissension in the team, and this is where the Vision can possibly come in and get those tag team titles from them next week at Madison Square Garden. And because of that, the Usos could lose their opportunity as to heading into WrestleMania with no titles. They won't be able to go there. Their tickets will be gone, and well, that's not going to sit too well with Big Jim. Even in the midst of all this chaos, the gaslighting, the hollering, the screaming, Roman Reigns attacked CM Punk brutally. Now, there was no blood. It was just a vicious, brutal attack. And even after all of that, Phil was smiling. Why? Because he realizes now that he's regained the upper hand. He allowed Roman Reigns to shake loose his control. And because of that, this has allowed him to be able to now control the narrative. All he has to do is tug on that tree of Jey Uso, and Roman Reigns pretty much loses his shit. The control is lost. And now CM Punk, he owns the court. All Roman had to do was keep his composure. Jey Uso could wild out all day long, but he should have kept his composure. Almost took away Roman's opportunity by getting a title shot at CM Punk before WrestleMania. This was volatile. This is the Punk I stand. Yeah. Does it make Roman look weak that he doesn't want to go after Punk as bad as his cousin does for disrespecting his dead father? No, it doesn't in my eyes. Just because you don't see in rage displayed out in physical displays doesn't mean that he doesn't want to go after Punk. He's made it very clear how he wanted to play this, but because Jey Uso doesn't have the maturity, he doesn't have the emotional maturity to be able to play it out in according to how his cousin wants to. This is where you get the situation of people interfering, and that their emotion then rubs off on someone else, and it causes this to be full-blown chaos. Roman being more controlled makes him someone who's more dangerous. When you look at the Usos and you look at the twins, yes, both of them look alike. They have a similar moveset, but Jey Uso isn't the dangerous twin. It is Jimmy. Jimmy is quiet. He's calm. He's cool and he's collected. He doesn't react a lot to everything, but you know when he speaks in his tone that he doesn't like what you've said, and there will be consequences. The same thing comes from Roman. You display authority and leadership through control, not with losing your shit every time somebody says something you don't like. Roman understands that, but dark times require dark measures, I guess. In this case, Roman Reigns allowed his cousin to gas him up, which caused the reaction of CM Punk regaining the upper hand. Roman knows better. He knows better. But his emotions boiled over anyway. And now he's lost the upper hand that he gained last week. He lost it. It doesn't make him look weak. It just makes him look like he's lost the game. He isn't fully competing the way that he should be. This should be a back and forth, a meeting of the minds. CM Punk is right when he's saying they're in the shit talking business and everything is on the table and nothing is off limits. But when you gain the upper hand the way Roman did off of one very simple line of just calling him old, that is a level of power that even CM Punk couldn't gain without going into the dirt and grabbing him out. He had everything. He had CM Punk in the palm of his hand, and he gave it back to him by listening to Jey Uso. It doesn't make him look weak, but it does make him look like the scale is tipping in CM Punk's favor, which isn't good. You don't want to go into WrestleMania with your head not in the game. I don't care how many times you've headlined the show. You could very easily lose not paying attention. Yes, essentially, yes. Jimmy finna get this in bag in 2026. I agree. I think him and his brother are gonna split again. They're gonna be fighting each other, but this time the match is gonna be better. It's gonna be worthwhile, and Jimmy's gonna get the okay to go through. And I think Jimmy's gonna either be Intercontinental or US champion this year. I really do. It is a different level when someone talks about your dead dad, though. If you go to the let's put it this way, I'll put it to perspective, right? When you're talking about sparring with someone mentally, if you don't know your opponent, then you won't know how to be able to poke the bear. I understand that people want equal blows for blows, right? So everybody was expecting, and even me, everybody was expecting Roman to go, well, your dog's dead, so that's why your dog died, to get away from your ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody wanted him to say that. Of course. But here's what I'm saying, and this is what I want you guys to think about, at least from my perspective, okay? So just hear me out. When you are in a mental battle with someone and you realize that your opponent is very surface level, they're very superficial, they will go to the depths of hell if it means dragging you down there, right? Then the best thing for you to do is to hit them where it hurts the most. Not to hit below the belt. Hit them where it hurts the most. Everybody was saying, oh, it's the dog. Oh, it's his wife. Yes and no. That is going to get you an emotional reaction, but you've also stooped to his level. You're already where he wants you to be. And that's a level of control that he would have. If you want to keep the control, Roman did the right thing last week by taking him off his rocker. It was taking him out of his comfortability. He took him out of his element. CM Punk has been doing everything in his power to make sure Roman lost his control, to make sure he doesn't keep his composure, because that is a part of his facade. That's a part of his tribal chief makeup. Once you strip that away from him, what do you have? Is it going to be Joe you face up against inside Royal Rumble? Or is it going to be the untouchable, unstoppable, the 5-year champion OTC1 that you face against? Because that is what he was doing. He's been stripping him of his OTC tribal moniker so he can get the bare bones when he gets to Mania. It's a mental game first, and then the physical comes in. Does he know that Roman Reigns is bigger and stronger and faster? Yes. But if you can take an opponent out mentally, he is out of the game, which means it makes it easier for you to take them down and destroy. CM Punk understands that very well, but Roman does too. And I believe that this would not have happened if Jey Uso wasn't volatile in that ring today. Roman was taken out of his element, listening to Jey Uso, wondering, screaming and hollering about his emotion. Don't get me wrong. I think that CM Punk went too far with the dad comment. Not saying that it was fair. I understand that sometimes the war is a war, okay? And sometimes you got to hit below the belt to make sure that the opponent understands you're not kidding, right? Fine. But I stand by what I said multiple times. I think that Roman Reigns did the right thing by maintaining his composure last week, because it did not give CM Punk the upper hand. It gave the upper hand to him. CM Punk is the one who lost his cool. CM Punk is the one who was emotional. And that's not normal behavior for him. He didn't expect him to do that. He expected him to get into the mud with him, and he didn't do that. So it was best for him to stay on the offense and not go on defense. And now he's given him back the power, which is why he's been laid out laughing this whole time, because he already knows where this is headed, because he's steering the ship and they're letting him. It's all about the game and how you play it. The song. Cute. No, not Cody will also agree. Punk thinks he's an evil genius. Well, given the fact that he's been able to manipulate both Roman and his cousin Jey Uso, and the things that he's done in his past with his career, you kind of have to give him that moniker that he technically is. Is Uncle Dwayne going to check Roman for not doing more? Personally, I would leave Dwayne out of this feud. I think that Roman can handle this one himself. However, I do think that you might see Uncle Dwayne, just in a different capacity. And we'll leave it at that. Oba is the beast. Well, yes. We are well aware of Oba Femi's wonderful work ethic. Yes, Mikey is very messy. He is. You have to give him that moniker. That's true. Mikey is very messy, but we love Mikey over here. He's been a good sparring partner, to say the least. Now, let's talk about Paul Heyman. We're going to skip around a little bit and talk about Paul Heyman. Okay? Paulina was not having a good day today, but I mean, it couldn't have been as bad as Seth Rollins getting arrested. He said, okay, you sure you come around more often? Paul Heyman was out there twice tonight. Well, 3 times. Okay. He was out there to stand with his man and best friend, Brock Lesnar. And then he ended up having to go out there for his tag team division. And then he requested time in the ring. And well, that didn't go well. Okay. So, ew. Just, ew. He looks like a sad old man. Oh my God. I'll show y'all in a minute. But first, we'll talk about the match. We'll get to those women in a second. The Usos ended up losing this match against the Vision, mainly because Jey Uso, after so they tried to use the brass knuckles, and LA Knight came in with the help, with the save to help. He gave Jey Uso the brass knuckles while the ref's back was turned so that they could low-key cheat and, get a little up one on the Vision. All right, because the Vision were already cheating and doing too much. Now, instead of him just hiding the brass knuckles, he hit them in the face in front of the referee. And the ref was warning him, throw the knuckles out or you're done. They both got disqualified because of it. But Jey Uso didn't care. He ends up knocking out both Theory and Logan Paul, which, not gonna lie, that was fucking satisfying. It was satisfying to see. Anyways, Paulina decided that he was done for the night. After watching Brock Lesnar get his ass whooped by Obafemi for 2 weeks in a row, he was done. But Adam was like, oh no, babe, you requested time to go out to the ring. And he was like, okay, well, push it back for another time. He said, no, you requested the time, you got the time. So you're going to take your ass out to the ring and do what you wanted to do. He was like, I'm really getting tired of you. And I'm tired of you too, Paulina. See you in the ring. So he waddles his big, thick ass up out of there. Hardy motherfucker just waddling out there. He waddles his ass out there and he goes in the ring and basically tells Seth, come on, come at me, bro. Come at me, bro. I'm tired of it. You know I can't fight you because my big ass can't fight. You know I can't. I'm just a big old horny man. Okay, I don't know no better. Seth came out there, was standing on top of the announcer's table, and of course, Paul Heyman had a plan. You see, Paul Heyman had already filed a restraining order against Seth freaking Rollins. Now, I need for WWE to be just a little bit more realistic because from my understanding, well, sometimes they do. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they'll notify you that you have a restraining order against you and you are not to come in between such amount of feet between an individual. But if you are deemed too dangerous, they might not notify you. That might not be giving you the privilege, and you might just end up going to jail. So they kind of got me on this. They kind of got me on this one. Now, Paulina got curb stomped in the ring by Seth Rollins, and legally he wasn't allowed to be in the arena or to compete. So technically, Seth did attack a civilian as a civilian, and therefore he was granted the restraining order. Now, because of this restraining order being granted, Seth Rollins was not allowed to come within 50 feet of Paulina. Now, Paul Heyman decided once he got Seth Rollins arrested by Boston PD, Seth was carted out, as you can see on the screen, and he decided to berate Seth freaking Rollins. Okay. I'm going to try to say what he said verbatim because it's pretty nasty work. I'm not going to lie. Even I wouldn't say no shit like that to nobody. But he said, basically, when your wife divorces you and marries half the locker room, and then he said your daughter is put up for adoption, I'll go and adopt her and take care of her. And he just kept going on and on. And when he said something about Lil Rue, that made his ass break free from the police. And he went in there and punched Paul Heyman dead in his shit and was yelling and screaming at him. Now, the Boston PD ended up arresting Seth. I'm sure that his press sign photo will be coming out very soon. So it is what it is. Apparently, he went to jail. We'll see. We shall see. I mean, as a boy from Chicago, I don't and can't disagree with his antics. I can't with you. Seth looking like the one frat guy that got caught running from the party. You know what, Mikey? You know what, fam? You right. You are right. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. I didn't put anything in the punch, bro. It's Jungle Punch, bro. It's Jungle Punch, bro. That's what he looks like. Where is that Theory versus Waller smoke? Need to address that. And you know what, Octane? I 1000% agree. Okay, I thought that they should have addressed Theory and Waller very early. When Theory first came back, Waller should have saw him. They should have had an interaction. Theory should have beat the brakes off of Waller. Beat the brakes off of him. Okay. Oh, that would have been a good one. And that would have set Theory up too to be a real true menacing force. But I'm going to talk about Austin Theory in a minute because I really because I'll get to him in a second. I promise. Well, Paul Heyman said he come from a long line of snitches. So he's pretty proud of that. The police force didn't look so intimidating. Wasn't buying it. Sorry. Well, if you didn't buy it, it wasn't for you, sweetheart. I don't know what to tell you. It's like, I mean, look, he wasn't even handcuffed. He was just escorted out because at that point he hadn't done anything. He wasn't volatile at that point. But when he broke free, which I thought was very interesting, and he attacked Paul Heyman, technically he going to jail. So if it didn't give you what you needed to make you believe what you saw was real, that's your business. But if you can't live in the world of imagination, then, well, I'm sorry that your imagination has left you, love. I wish you nothing but love in the end. They've been corrupt since the 1800s. Who knows? Jesus Christ. What are they supposed to do? Beat them down with batons? Jesus. I mean, he was laughing, so it must have tasted great. You know that man love a good sandwich. I still need Seth to hit a low point. Respectfully, I have to agree. He says, it's just a little powder, bruh. It's just a little powder, bruh. Mikey's stupid. He definitely put the Everclear in the Jungle Punch. You feel me? Like 1000%. It's pixie sticks, bruh. It's just a little candy, bruh. It's no big deal. Like, what's wrong with you, bro? We're supposed to be partying. Woo! Party! Sorry, I can't help it. Well, that sounds accurate to me. Police in real life don't look intimidating, if we're being honest. Well. Let's get to the rest of the show, and then we'll be wrapping this up because it was a pretty solid show, and there were some really thick points here, but a lot of it was a lot of filler today, which was very interesting. Asuka and Kairi Sane went up against the team of Bayley and Lyra, and they were battling it out. And Bayley and Lyra were able to overcome the team of Kairi and Asuka. Now, Kairi and Asuka got backstage, and Asuka does to Kairi what she always does. She blamed her for the loss, when in all actuality, Kairi saved her ass during that match. And even still, Asuka didn't get back up to help Kairi or to save the match. She left Kairi in the ring to fend for herself against a very fresh Lyra Valkyria. Now, I know that Lyra got out of the ring and attacked both women, right? But Asuka didn't get kicked. Kairi did. Kairi's the one who had to bear the brunt of that kick from Lyra. Meanwhile, Bayley was laid out on that announcer's table, and my God, she tried to do an elbow drop on Asuka, and Kairi saved her. And Bayley could have really hurt herself on that table. Oh, it did not have no give when she jumped on that table. It's bad, okay? Now, because Bayley and Lyra were able to best Asuka and Kairi Sane, they now have a tag team title opportunity against Lash Legend and Nia Jax. And this is all happening at Madison Square Garden. Now, if you ask me, Lash and Nia need to lose the tag team titles to Bayley and Lyra. Not because they haven't done a good job as the champions, but because Bayley is owed a moment at WrestleMania with those tag team titles. Win, lose, or draw. She should have been there last time that they had the opportunity. And for her to not be able to go to Mania and for them to do it this way, she better win next week. She better win. Because you didn't have to take away her opportunity to give Becky one. You didn't have to do that. And it pisses me off because Becky always doing that to people, either upstaging them or taking away opportunities from other people. And everybody says it's cool. There's no problem with it. And I don't like it. Speaking of Becky, Crossfire came out there with her lips tight, mad as hell for whatever fucking reason. And she decided she wanted to go on this long diatribe about how she's mad that she's no longer a champion and how her daughter now is listening to her favorite wrestler's song and dancing around the house with the skipping, and it's pissing her off. And I was like, why don't you make her turn the shit off like any other? Like, come on, Rue, come on. I don't want to listen to the song today, okay? Why can't we listen to Baby Shark? Or let's Gracie's Corner. You want to listen to Gracie's Corner? Let's listen to Gracie's Corner. She got some bops. Gracie's Corner got bops, okay? Come on now. Or make her listen to Stephanie's theme. Stephanie's theme get you together, okay? The OG one. Where she be like, yeah, I'm all grown up. Yeah, where Kim be singing down there. Yeah, get that one. Get that one. I thought Cutwater was like healthy water. Nigga, what? That's what Seth looked like he was saying. That's crazy. That is stupid. Shout out to Lyra. Finally have a new ponytail. Ooh, child, that she was living and breathing by them 3 ponytails, honey. And the story was weak. It was weak. I'll agree. Yep. Because her baby don't give a fuck about that man. Gracie's Corner veggie song hits and do. That made her face turn red. Child. Girl, turn on that Demon Hunters and leave the room. Okay. That song Golden is cute though. Or that Soda Pop song. Soda Pop. Okay. Demon Hunters is a cute little movie. It really is. The animation for it is real nice. I like it. Them damn fishtail brace was pissing me off. I can't. Anyways, when AJ Lee brought her ass out there, she didn't skip. She ran to the ring, and of course, Becky ran her ass all the way into the crowd, all the way in the back, like she was one of the fucking roadies. And I'm just like, girl, you literally stood in the ring and told everybody that you wanted to rip her apart limb from limb. And then the bitch come in the ring and you run. Bitch, why are we here? Because y'all could have had this conversation in the fucking parking lot. Why y'all can't do like the NXT hoes do? When they be talking shit, they be like, it's on site, it's on site. Okay, you can talk shit about Dark State, but them niggas, when they think it's on site, they gonna whoop your ass. Okay, you're going to get your ass beat. Why y'all can't be like that? Huh? Why y'all can't just go out there and just whoop ass? Why we gotta do this? I'm tired of this. We've been stuck in this hell of Becky Lynch and her fucking inflated ego for the last 6 months, and I'm tired. I'm tired. Please find something else to do, ma'am. Like, kids will literally have their own concert. And will. Becky skipped into the crowd, though. She did skip. She did skip. Mm-hmm. My baby cousin told me it was his Soda Pop song, and I needed to shut up. You weren't allowed to sing the Soda Pop song. Ooh, child. I mean, Sans Coach, she looked like one. Ooh. Lord have mercy. Now, Becky, to make it plain and to give it to you quick and clean and dirty, look, AJ Lee was out there and she was just like, Becky, we can have this out. But she like, every time I turn around, you was always on some bullshit. So you know what? Let's just make it real quick. You want to fight? Let's fight. We can fight at WrestleMania. So what's up? Becky like, oh, you played right into my hands. Girl, we saw this coming 3 months ago. I wish I would have just said it 3 months ago. You played right into my hands. I've been to WrestleMania. I am WrestleMania. I'm big time Bex, whatever. And she was like, what happened the last time you went to Mania? Oh, that's right. You walked your ass into the office and you laid your shit, your fucking boots up. You quit. And I would have been like, and bitch, if I hadn't quit, there would be no you. So what's up? If there was never a me, there would never be a you. I'm your precursor, not the other way around. So you sitting up here talking all this shit. And you've been dogging me out. You calling me old. You telling me I'm a quitter. You telling me I'm this and you telling me I'm that. I know that somebody. Now, if we're going to talk about quitting, let's talk about quitting. Flight attendant, fitness instructor, personal trainer, Burger King, whatever name you want to call it, wrestler. You've quit so many times, it's hard to count, Becky. Okay? Just because you was able to find your footing in WWE and keep your ass there doesn't mean that you're not a quitter too. Okay? Let's just call a spade a spade. You've done every job you can think of and didn't rest in that job. And then as soon as you got to the WWE, you almost lost that job too. I would have tore your ass apart. I'd have ate your ass up. Do you hear what I'm saying? The fuck you mean I'm a quitter? I'm a quitter? I'm a quitter? You don't want to go there with me. You don't want to go there with me, babes. That's not where you want to go. You can't study in school, so you quit that. You couldn't get your ass together to be a flight attendant. All you had to do was serve the drinks, get the people off the plane, and go to the next city. You couldn't do that. You wanted to be a personal trainer. That fucked you up royally. You couldn't do that. You've been quitting your whole life. But you finally found something that you couldn't quit. Oh, did I forget? They almost fired your ass. Then you start running around calling yourself the man, and they was like, gotcha. But you couldn't even come up with that on your own, could you? You had to steal that from your ex-best friend's dad. Let's keep it fucking real. See, you don't want me writing scripts. Because I will tear your ass down. If I know about it, I'm using it. Period. I will cut you deep in this bitch. Because that's crazy. She was trying to look for some bail money. She can't get hurt when then Uncle Phil had more ammunition for the custody case. Oh, Lord Jesus. Jesus, Mikey. My students still be asking me to play Sweet Honey Bucket. 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 Like a mechanical bull. That's a good song. I don't care what nobody say. And Becky was talking about she murdered the Divas division. That's what she said, honey. When quite frankly, she had nothing to do with it. If anybody did it, it was Charlotte. It was Charlotte. It was Charlotte and Sasha. Okay? She was a clown too. Look at that. Well, maybe she going back to her roots then. She going back to her roots. That's what it is. It's okay, y'all. She going back to her roots. Babe, when you were a diva, you were the no one nobody gave a shit about. Child. Literally the middle letter of the group. PNC made you Mozilla Fox post 2008. Damn, I ain't heard Mozilla Fox in forever. For those of you who don't know what Mozilla Fox is, it's a browser. It was a web browser. I don't even think, did it change to Firefox? It's just Firefox now. They still got Firefox. But it's not as good as Opera or Google Chrome or Internet Explorer is. But Firefox was a good browser at one point in the life. So that was a good callback, Aaliyah. That was good. It took you getting punched in the face to get your shit together. I don't even have to do the reading. They can do it. I would have tore your ass up, though. AJ Lee, real nice. She real nice, which I ain't never seen. Even when she was a face back in the day, that lady never gave a fuck. I don't know why she letting that lady take her out now. It was Stephanie. Becky was awesome in the Four Horsewomen era of NXT. She was. I'm not shitting on her. We talking about kayfabe wise. The way that she's operating now, she acts as if she was the star of everything. And to be fair, out of all four of the women, and y'all might not like this, Becky's at the bottom. That's not because Becky's not good enough or she's not great enough, but we're talking about you talking about accolades, skills in the ring. You're talking about overall impact. Now, I'm not saying Becky don't have a high impact on the women's division. Her impact came later, but we are talking about just ranks. I still put Becky at the bottom of that Four Horsemen. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And y'all probably gonna be mad at me for that. But I stand by that statement. I really do. Nobody cares about Becky? Do they? I am old enough for Netscape browsing. Who? Sir. Don't tell nobody else that. Let me take this off. Don't tell nobody else that. Why would you say that? I didn't like Netscape, but I was around for it. Oh, you rude. You didn't have to bring that up. You're not saying something I disagree with there. Okay, I wasn't an AJ fan, but she was always a bitch in the promo. She was. Didn't she used to come out river dancing or folk dancing? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Definitely did. Cry Sadie's is number one. Cry Sadie's is crazy. Cry Sadie's is crazy. I'm like Punk. I'm old and proud. Period. Period. Oh, I don't know what that is, but I was around for AOL loud ass. Child Netscape. It was a web browser. Ooh, it's old. It's old school. Always screaming, "You got me!" Ooh, Don. You know how like when you was trying to sneak on the computer and check your email at night and you forgot to turn the volume down on that bitch and that email come in and you got mail screamed on. Ooh, baby, I used to have to turn off the lights and hide, child. Yeah, she was pure evil. I've got a kid with a master's degree. My God, today. I got a master's degree too, fam. So kudos to the kid. We love a higher education individual. We love that. Now, Becca is going to face off against AJ Lee for that Intercontinental Championship again. And she says she going to send her packing and break her or whatever. Girl, at this point, I hope not. Because what I'm tired of is the same merry-go-round when it comes to Becky. And Becky gets a lot of time to do a whole bunch of nothing. That time slot could have been filled with some shit for Judgment Day or something that we actually wanted to see. Speaking of Judgment Day, Dominic Mysterio was cleared to wrestle. He was suffering from a concussion in his brutal match with Vikingo at the Rey de Reyes a few weeks ago. So he was cleared and they allowed him to wrestle Penta for his Intercontinental Championship rematch. He cut a promo before that in a video vignette and basically said he should have never lost the title to begin with. And if it wasn't for Finn jumping in his business, he would still be champion. But he said that's all well and done. We done took care of the problem in Judgment Day, got rid of the cancer, and we all on one page. We all on one accord. So we about to run roughshod. I'm going to get my championship back, and we going to be back at the top. So he brought out his skanky girlfriend, Liv Morgan. She smelled like hot dog water today. And she came out there and Stephanie wasn't having that shit. She bust that bitch in the back of the head. Okay, they was in there fighting. They was scrapping. Liv Morgan threw that girl so hard into the LED, it blipped out. Okay, them hoes got the fighting in the back in Gorilla. And as soon as Stephanie slammed that bitch on that damn floor, that's when the security decided to stop him from fighting. I was like, so when Liv Morgan threw that hole into the chairs and into the LED, that didn't warrant nothing to stop. That wasn't when you should have stopped. It was after she got slammed on the damn concrete that she should have been stopped. Okay, great. All right. So Dom was gonna have his homegirl out there, but she was gone. So she was out there fighting. They had to pull them apart. Now JD McDonough was trying to keep Liv calm. I don't know where the fuck Raquel's bum ass was, but she was in the back with EO talking about next week I'm gonna beat your ass because you didn't have to get involved in my shit like you always in some business. People don't want you around. I was like, girl, I would have told her to her face, if you don't get your no titty, long back, having ass the fuck up out of my face, because nobody asked you to attack me after the gauntlet match either, but you did, ho. So turnabout is fair play. Now, if you want to talk about some get backs, we can do it. If you want to go to Madison Square Garden next week and get embarrassed like you've been getting embarrassed by your best friend, by your homegirl for the last couple of months, then let's do it. Either way, it's going to end the same, with you laying on your back and not for good reasons, and the ref counting 1, 2, 3, and my hand being raised and this big cheesy grin on my face. And that's where I would leave it. But anyways, so they was down 2 members of Judgment Day. They already down Roxanne because she's recovering from her surgery. And sir, we thought Dom and Penta was going to have a clear path to fight it out with no interruptions. But if you thought that Finn Balor was going to wait a whole nother week to come out there and teach Dominic Mysterio a lesson that his daddy taught him 4 times already, you got another thing coming, ho. Because that's exactly what happened. Finn Balor came out to his OG music. I wish he would have been able to do his entrance like he's always done his entrance. But it's okay. We're going to get a good entrance at WrestleMania. I'm hoping and praying. Okay? Anyways, Finn came out there, caused enough of the distraction, took out JD McDonough, and cost Dominic Mysterio the match. Penta rolled up Dom. Dom lost. Dom can't challenge for that IC championship no more. It's over. It's done. Penta's moving on. Dominic Mysterio obviously is in fear of his big brother, and so he ran. He tried to. They ended up fighting and scrapping, and then JD McDonough recovered from being thrown over that damn roadie box, came in there and ended up suffering a coup de grace for his troubles. Not only that, but he also got a sling blade, and it was just a pure ass whooping ever since. Now, let's put this into perspective, right? JD McDonough is supposed to be your family, supposed to be your broski, your homeboy. And your homeboy come in there and save you. And you didn't go in there and save him. You basically ran up the steps into the arena and left your homeboy to get his ass whooped by your former brother. So my thing is this. How much do you really love your boy? How much do you really love him? How much do you really care about him? Because it seems like you don't give a fuck about nobody. As long as they protecting you and keeping you safe with them damn championships, that's all that matters. But I will say this. The new AAA championship eats down. It eased down. I didn't like the matte championship look. I didn't like that. It didn't look real. It looked very fake to me. Very similar to how the Andre the Giant trophy looks. When you look at the Andre the Giant trophy, because of the way that it's been carved, there's no real true detail in it, and it just looks fake. It looked like if you touch it wrong, it's going to fall over and break, right? So that championship looked like a toy. It looked like a toy that you would buy at the WWE shop. So now that they've revamped it, gave it more details, the details stand out. They've buffed and shined it. They've made the strap leather. You can see the strap, a clear distinction between the strap and the gold. Like, it looks so pretty and so polished. It's a nice looking title. It really, really is. So I'm happy for them. All right. Now, we talked about Becca, we talked about Finn, we talked about Roman. So if you late coming in, I'm sorry, Shugs. We already talked about it. There was another match that happened on the show. I got to get to these comments. Hold on. Child, yes, they were scrapping. Where was the Boston PD then? Right? Where was the cops? Nowhere to be found. Well, that woke her up. Yes. Where were they when the Irish mob? Damn. We're getting trunks. I feel it in my bones. Oh, I hope so. In his H&M GQ look, child. How will I know? I won't. So much. I love it. Oh, Deborah Wilson is a treasure. Not JD McFivehead, baby. He had all his locks flowing out today. I didn't know who he was. I thought he was a short white woman out there with no titties. I was like, who is that tittyless white woman out there? Oh, shit, that's JD McDonough. I will say whatever he put in his hair was nice and shiny. He had a real good conditioner in there. And I think that Logan Paul need to stop putting all that peroxide and bleach in his hair and start conditioning it. You can't color your hair without, putting some type of color treatment, shampoo and conditioner on your hair. It's just gonna make it look dry and fluffy. You looked a mess, child. Okay. Listen, he is just like Liv in reverse, child. Yeah, it looked plastic. Oof. It wasn't giving. I'll fully hire Finn back as a client if he goes back to Trunks. I agree. AJ in the back giving deep conditioner. Somebody got to. Shit. AJ Styles is a lot of things, but that man's hair was always on point after his wife was saying, "Here, use this because I'm tired of your brittle ass hair. I'm sick of it." JD got too much hair for that head shape. That's diabolical. Mikey said you can't leave the product in long. You can't leave it in there too long. You got to give it like 5 minutes, rub it into the follicles and then, rinse it out, then give yourself a nice little blow dry and it's beautiful. It flows in the wind. Mm-hmm. I will say his blowout was nice. His hair looked real nice today. For him to have such a big head, it did hide his big ass head. I ain't gonna lie. His head is square, so there's nowhere for him to breathe. They on 1,000 today. I don't know what the hell's going on with them, but they're on 1,000. Did I miss anything? Grayson Waller went up against Javon Evans today. And it seems like Kobe is still trying to court Javon Evans, but he is really ready to get rid of Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller is like standing up for Kofi and had this match, and Javon Evans looked great in the match. They seemed to be going back and forth. It was a good sparring match between them. Grayson's a good wrestler when he's not doing all that jaw jacking and juke jiving and all that bullshit. He actually is a decent wrestler. I find him to be a good heel when necessary, and I wouldn't mind him going after the Intercontinental Championship, possibly getting it for a short time just to wreak havoc on the IWC and in WWE, and then somebody takes it from him that can really do some damage. So he's a good heel in that sense, so I wouldn't mind that for Grayson. But him being in this whole thing with the New Day is just, it's not working, and it seems like they've already gotten to the point where he's expendable. He needs to go. So what we saw was our favorite homeboy basically telling him like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I did what I had to make sure that you won your own matches. You need to win your own matches and have your own thing. I can't always be there, to save you. You know what I'm saying? You gotta do your own thing, And Grayson was kind of upset. He was like, well, damn, like, I thought we was cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, bare minimum. I thought we was cool. But nah. Kobe said, nah, fam, you gotta do your own thing. I can't always protect you. You gotta learn how to do your own thing. I was like, oh, okay. Okay, I see where we at. I was like, let's do it then, But it seems like Grayson Waller might be leaving he might be leaving the New Day, and I think is a good thing. I also think it's time for New Day to do something else, either to split up or they need to move in a different direction. I mean, I'm not saying that they're bad at being heels, because they're not, but I miss the New Day that was fun and still a heel. You know what I mean? When the New Day were originally heels and they were running through WWE, and that was fun. Like, that part of New Day was fun. Even when they were heels, they were cheating. They still had that positivity at the forefront. Now they're just, I mean, they're mean, which is fine, but they're kind of corny with it. And I need them to revive themselves on something else. That's what I need. All right. All right. Let's get in here. Box hat. Yeah, well, that'll work. I miss Grayson running the programs. You need a little fire. You need a little spitfire, you know? Not to mention the iSpeed got cursed too. Yeah, he did get cursed. Danhausen was back there, and iShowSpeed was in Boston this week, and he showed up at the E. He was, talking to Javon Evans earlier. We saw them dap each other up. And he also was talking to Penna, and Penna taught him how to do his walk. Then Dragon Lee showed up. He met Dragon Lee. They dapped it up, and he moved forward. Adam Pearce and iShowSpeed were talking, and Danhausen showed up and asked if iShowSpeed could change his channel to iShow Danhausen. To iShowhausen, and then they can share the profits, because he's basically using his name. iShow said no. He said, "Oh, well, then you are cursed," and he cursed him. And iShow was like, "Well, what the hell does that mean?" I was like, "It means exactly what he said, bro. Like, it means you are cursed, love. I don't know how to remove the curse." So I guess you'll have to figure that out. I don't know, man. We'll figure it out together. Anyways, we'll see how this curse works out. It's not working too well for Miz, so we'll see how it works out for you too, I guess. And then we go back to the beginning, where it all began. Roman Reigns and his cousins losing their shit. CM Punk regaining the upper hand once again. Yeah, Don was in there. He said they are heel like. Ooh, child. They need to get Javon and do what with him, Don? Because you keep saying that, but I disagree. I don't think that Javon Evans should join the group. It doesn't do anything for them. They're not going back to being faces, and Javon is a face right now. Like when they look like youth ministers or 2D. No, Aaliyah, Jesus Christ. The version of New Day that came out with the matching gears and Francesca, they were playing the horn and they were twerking. They were doing all that shit while they were heels. They were heels then. Or do you not remember? But they also need a muscle man. Yeah, I used to watch them live, child. Speed should get signed. From what I understand, he already is. They just have to find the time to wedge him in. But they say he's already in. He has 180 million human followers. He spent 2025 training, and I like the content he produces. I don't watch iShowSpeed. He's not my cup of tea. He's meant for y'all, so I'm not really a fan. But I won't say that he's not going to be a decent wrestler. If he dedicates himself, he'll be fine. I cannot wait for Truthhausen. I love how we're getting more of this, of his character, because part of the lore is he's low-key a money-hungry scam artist. Yes. Somebody has to turn. Javon Evans just got on the roster. Like, you be wanting everybody to be heels. When is anybody going to be able to be a face for a period of time where they're not turning to a heel purely because you want them to be one. To me, it would have to make sense. And I don't think it makes any sense to put him in the Judgment Day. They're not, I mean, into the New Day. They're not going to turn them. They're still villains. Especially with Xavier being out like he is. Unless they plan on making them turn face, to me, that would make more sense. Javon Evans is hot right now. It doesn't make sense to turn him heel. I know Roman was shook because how that man get his ass beat, and he's the one who comes off looking good. I know. I turn him back faces if that's the case. The heel work went sour once they fumbled it. So yeah, turn him back heel, turn him back face. They're not gonna turn him face. At least that's what it's looking like right now. You can turn right and left. You can turn face and turn heel. You want everybody to turn. And the solution for everything is to turn. Even Yeller had his day, Nicole. He's too fun and exciting to be a heel. I think he would be fine as a heel. I think when given an opportunity, he can do it. What I'm saying is Don wants him to be a face in New Day. And I don't believe he has to join New Day to save New Day. New Day can save themselves. And I don't think Javon Evans needs to be in New Day in order to keep going the way he's going. But I think Don just wants him to have something else to do besides just having random matches on Monday Night Raw. To an extent, it makes sense, but I don't think they're going to turn New Day anytime soon. They're not really doing anything with the tag team division at this point. The men's tag team division is just as busted, and they don't even book the men's tag team division as well as they book the women's tag team division. And there's not much of a division to book for the women, but they find a way to book it in the first place. But there are 2 sets of belts for the men in the tag team division. And I think that the Usos have had the title, and I think they've defended it once. This is the most they've defended those titles since they got them. And it's no shade because Jimmy had to leave, a lot because Naomi had a high-risk pregnancy. And we understand that. That wasn't an issue. But even prior to that, Judgment Day had those titles, and I think they had them for almost a year, and they may have defended them twice. Maybe. And they were having tag team matches, mind you. They were having tag team matches, and they were not defending them. They were not. So I just don't want him to go into a division that's floundering. That's my only issue. He says, no, I want them back as faces because this heel work is weak. If they can somehow make that work, then fine. But me personally, I'm okay with Javon not being in New Day. Even if they turn back to faces, I'm okay with them not being together. But if he joins them and it works out, I always give you your flowers. So Roman's sitting on that bus sick. Because he didn't have to do all of that. That was unnecessary. It was unnecessary. And I've been telling people it was unnecessary. Like they dragged Big E and that was it. That was the part that sucked. But they ended up getting the tag team titles after that. But then they had no real adversaries. There was nothing. And they didn't do anything. And my question is, and I would have asked, where do we go from here? Y'all dragged out Big E. Big E can't get any retaliation. The only way I would have figured it would have worked is if Big E decided to back another tag team and they went at it that way. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that could have worked really well, but I don't know. They chose not to go that route. Yes, I don't like random shit. He gets very frustrated. It's very after a while, what are we doing? Why am I in random matches? No, give me something to do. Give me a storyline or something. I'm not doing this. When that man gets to the E, it's going to be a problem. I'm going to just be sitting at home in my rocking chair, just I knew that young man when he was just before being 30. They don't know how to do two things at once. If they boost the men, the women get the short end. I agree. And once you push the women, the men get the short end, unless they got titles, unless their names is Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, John Cena, CM Punk, and their family members have the other fucking titles. Yes. Yes. You have to be a babyface and build to turn into a good heel. I spend every Monday putting my body on the line, and you all don't care. That doesn't work as well for only after 2 months. I mean, yeah. And since we started taking orders from the help, since when we start taking orders from the help, like you moved on Jay's word, he did. That's what I was saying. That's why I said it didn't make him look weak. What it did is made him vulnerable. It made him easy to be gaslit and controlled. He did exactly what CM Punk wanted to do. Get him down in the mud and in the gutter with him. And that's where he lost. That's where he lost the fight. He has lost it because he let him put him there. And he shouldn't have done that. That made low-key was my bathroom break. That's crazy. He's not the quarterback. He's a defensive end. I'm going to fuck around and create a story out of nothing. And I don't like giving the man too much credit, but he's had moments of keeping everything under wraps. That's what I'm telling you. That's what I was telling you before. It is not like him for him to lose control like that. We've seen spurts of it, but it usually he resets himself and then he does what he needs to do. He's a controlled chaos. But this time he lost it. He lost it. And that gave CM Punk all the leverage he needed to continue doing what he's doing. Had he had just kept himself composed, none of this would have went down like that. But he couldn't. Listening to Jey Uso's ass, you ended up having your whole card peaked. But the thing is, sorry. He was on the floor giggling, and I was like, I see you. He's a manipulator, and he knows that. He's well aware of what he does. He's not an idiot. He's far from it. And he knew coming into this that he was going to have to push the right button to get Roman where he wanted him to be. And he knew that he couldn't keep going back to his dead dad because that wasn't going to work. That was going to give Roman the leverage to keep going at him and pushing a new button for him because Roman's only triggered one thing. A CM Punk has multiple outlets to attack. And it's not just Roman and his work ethic and him not showing up to work. It's about Roman Reigns and his family. He knows that's a point of contention. So once he starts going after Jey Uso, gassing him up, it was only a matter of time before Big Cuz stepped in and started the domino effect. He knew what he was doing. It was a hella intelligent play. He knew exactly what he was doing. Like Punk been saying, you don't have nobody in your corner, so you're using whatever you can to get the thing back. Well, and it took someone to talk about your family, which is for the past 5 years, and some change you've been dodging and dragging in your own family. Well, he got a point. He's the graduate student who sold Seth the pixie stick. It's a pixie stick, bro. It's a pixie stick, bro. It's not that big a deal, bro. Okay? It's not that big a deal. Hey, look, I love cops. I love cops, bro. Love them to death. Okay? It's cool. It's cool, bro. It's cool. They got such a bad picture of him with this. So bad. Anyways, we'll probably record the podcast for Down for the Count tomorrow. If not, we more than likely will record sometime this week. I'll go live again and we will talk more about everything. We're going to talk about AEW and then being in hot water over this Tony Storm t-shirt that they were selling. People were upset with them. I don't know why. I don't understand why they're mad. But anyways, there's so much to talk about in wrestling. Hopefully, I'll have everything gathered and we'll have a great show when we go live. I'm hoping we can go live tomorrow and talk about it. If not, I'll make sure you guys know when we're going live for Down for the Count to do our podcast this week. Okay. Well, we got a lot to discuss. Also, NXT is not going to be showing Stand and Deliver on Peacock, and their entire catalog has been removed. NXT is going to be showing their show, Stand and Deliver, on YouTube. It's on YouTube this year. I'm floored. I'm shocked, but we'll talk about it. All right. And then, of course, we've got Freestyle Wednesday where we talk about all the wrestling stuff. We'll go over NXT and then we'll just have a conversation like we always do. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more wrestling content. Check out our merch and consider becoming a member for exclusive perks, special emojis, and members-only content.